The Arizona Wildcats beat the Michigan Wolverines. The final score: Arizona Wildcats 80 to the Michigan Wolverines 53. Um, was one of those games that we were really thinking that the Arizona Wildcats were, and there was uh, quite a few people that thought the Arizona Wildcats were going to have kind of a difficult time with the Michigan Wolverines. We didn't know if the Michigan Wolverines were going to come out of that snap that they've been in. The Michigan Wolverines were ranked were ranked nationally for a while, but then the last two games, and um, they have fallen apart. They fell apart against what was it? Some I think some industrial tech team, um, New Jersey industrial tech team, and I think they also fell apart against another um, uh, not very uh, well ranked opponent also. So um, and they've lost both of those games. So Sean Miller, the coach of the Wildcats, was thinking that the Michigan Wolverines were going to be able to, were going to straighten the ship or right the mast whenever they came into McKale, because we beat them. The Arizona Wildcats beat the Michigan Wolverines last year, 72 to 70, and Michigan Wolverines had one of their best teams at that time, and so did the Arizona Wildcats. But the Michigan Wolverines went farther than the Arizona Wildcats did. So last season, so I think it was kind of a retribution that the Michigan Wolverines were going to try and do their best to try and crush the Arizona Wildcats, but it just didn't work out that way. The one thing that the Arizona Wildcats did that I've never seen them do at all this season is usually they have a really slow start and get behind the opposing team. Is usually it doesn't matter if the opposing team is highly ranked or not very well ranked at all. Um, the opposing team is usually beating the Arizona Wildcats within the you know, um, first 10 minutes of the game, the first quarter of the first half, of the first yeah, first quarter of the first half. The Arizona Wildcats are losing to any team. Usually have been losing to any team this season, but the Arizona Wildcats came out this specific game against the Michigan Wolverines, with guns blazing, and were ready to take it to them. And I think at one point it was the Arizona Wildcats I think it was 17-7. So the Arizona Wildcats they were ready to go, and I think one of the things that you could see right off the bat was Gabe York, and how much fire he had in his belly, because he made some really nice plays to get us onto the board, to get the Arizona Wildcats on the board, um, on the scoring board within the first couple of minutes, because he made some nice um, uh, floater. He made a nice floater, hit the backboard, and then he did some other nice shots that were um, they were very good. I think they had to give that spark to the rest of the Arizona Wildcats basketball team. Um, and you have the pair of T.J. McConnell and Parker Jackson Cartwright. They're both point guards for the University of Arizona Wildcats, and the then you also had the other pair of a senior and a freshman, or a higher. I think Tarsuski is a junior, upperclassman and a freshman, with Caleb Tarzuski and Dusan Ristic. The first pair, T.J. McConnell with the point guard, and Parker Jackson Cartwright. I guess they play really strong. They're very good practicing, because they feed off of each other, and Jackson Cartwright can learn from T.J. McConnell what to do and what not to do, and what how to make good passes, and how to play as a team with the team, and how to contribute to the team. And you can see that a little bit with that in Jackson Cartwright, the freshman, tonight. He had 4 assists, and I think that's just fantastic. I think that's awesome. And then, T.J. McConnell, last game, I don't think he had any assists at all, which is extremely unusual for him, for T.J. McConnell of the Arizona Wildcats to have 0 assists. He usually gets 6 or 7 assists a game, so it was very, very uncharacteristic of T.J. McConnell, our point guard for the Arizona Wildcats. But he got things back into shape again today, and T.J. McConnell from the Arizona Wildcats, point guard, he had 7 assists. Of course, whenever you have 7 assists, then you have much less of a chance of getting points. But I think that's T.J. McConnell's game, is his team, and passing the ball off to somebody else, and giving them the shot. That's why he gets such a high amount of assists per game. So he had 7, and Jackson Cartwright, his understudy, the freshman point guard that came in this season, he had 4 assists, and that's the most assists that I've ever seen Jackson Cartwright have. So it's a really nice contribution to see, T.J. McConnell and Jackson Cartwright being able to make very good contributions as far as assists. Gabe York also had quite a bit of assists. He had 4 assists, and Stanley Johnson had 3 assists. Stanley Johnson he's a freshman, but he is just a mass of a kid. He's I think he's 245 pounds, and he's 6'7", I think, and he's just big, bulky guy. And I say just lightly, because he's not just that. He's a major contributor. I mean, like I said, he had 3 assists. He had 1 block tonight. He had 1 steal tonight. He had 7 total rebounds, 6 defensive, and 1 of them was offensive. And he made 8 out of 10 field goals. So he made he was one of the big parts. One of the big positive parts of this team. He actually, Stanley Johnson led the team with 17 points from the Arizona Wildcats. Gabe York had 15 points, and let's see, Caleb Tarzuski had 15 points. The guy that shot, that made all of his free throw, or all of his field goals, was Dusan Ristic. So, like I said, you got that, you got those post players, you got the upperclassmen of Caleb Tarzuski, and then you got the Dusan Ristic, as being a freshman, so that they can kind of play off of each other, and you know, um, Caleb Tarczewski can just his behaviors, his mannerism, how he handles himself on the court and on and off the court. He can kind of be a guide a little bit for Dusan Aristic to follow, and he did that just fine today. Dusan Aristic ended up with, what was it, 7 points, or was it? He had 6 points tonight, and like I said, Caleb Tarczewski had 15 points. Rondé Hollis Jefferson made some. He was able to stop a lot of the three-point attempts from the Michigan Wolverines, and that's one of the reasons why there are three Michigan Wolverines three-point shooting percentage was not that great. They ended up shooting 7 for 26, so they had a 20. It was almost a 27% three-point land, and I think their average normally is 40% from three-point land. So I think that Rondé Hollis Jefferson did a really nice job of containing the Michigan Wolverines three-point attempts, and I think one of the reasons why they did maybe improve their three-point attempts a little bit was that the Arizona Wildcats just kind of took their foot off the gas in the last few minutes of the game. Well, I would say probably the last 10 minutes of the last quarter of the game, because it was a blowout. It was, at that point, when there was still over 10 minutes left in the game, I think there was 14 minutes still left in the game. It was a 30-point difference, and you can't come back with a 30-point difference if you're down by 30 points with shooting a lot of three-pointers and being very getting those three-pointers in very well, but that wasn't happening because, like I said, Rondé Hollis Jefferson played very, very aggressive defense and was able to stop their three-point attempts, some of their three-point attempts, some of the other strong posts, some of the other strong guards that played were Gabe York and T.J. McConnell played some nice defense on those three-point attempts, and believe it or not, the little guy Jackson Cartwright, he also made some nice played some nice defense against those three-point shooting attempts. Let's see, we had Elliot Pittswood played 16 minutes, Dusan Ristic played 12 minutes, Jackson Cartwright played 16 minutes. I was looking at who played the most minutes. Caleb Tarczewski had 27 minutes, and Stanley Johnson had 27 minutes. Let's see. So we had 5 guys score in double figures. We didn't get anybody in a double-double with a double-double tonight. The only guy that scored in double figures was for the Michigan Wolverines was Zach Irvin, and he knocked down 2 out of 6 from three-point land, and he knocked down 4 other field goals. So he ended up with 14 points. So he did. He was one of their biggest contributors for the team, and another one that was a big contributor was Derek Walton Jr. That's why the Arizona Wildcats. That was one of their goals. I think was probably to try and shut down as much as possible Derek Walton Jr. especially in his three-point attempts. And they did pretty good because he had 0 three-pointers, um, and he ended up with 7 points. He did have 5 assists tonight, so he did kind of get his contributions to in other ways, and one of them was the amount of assists with 5 assists. So anyway, the Arizona Wildcats, in summary, I think that what the Arizona Wildcats did with this game is they came out right out of the bat. Like I said, I've never seen that before. The Arizona Wildcats came right out of the bat, and they were ready to fight. And they just kept on the gas the whole way until I would say probably whenever there was maybe 15 minutes left in the game, and then they kind of let off, especially whenever there was about 5 minutes left in the game. Then it started to just be kind of garbage ball a little bit. I mean, there wasn't the Arizona Wildcats weren't executing as good as they normally were, and of course that has a little bit to do with throwing in some of the bench, but then at the same time it's just, I don't know, it's hard to keep. It's really hard to keep on, to keep playing tough against another team whenever you are ahead by so much, because it's just our natural tendency to take the easy way out. And so, anyway, but the Arizona Wildcats were able to get 40 total rebounds, compared to the Michigan Wolverines at 26. 9 of those 40 rebounds were offensive for the Arizona Wildcats, and so that, I think that made a big difference. The Arizona Wildcats have 2 big, huge guys, or 3 big, huge guys with Brendan Ashley. Well, probably 4. Anyway, the Arizona Wildcats have a bunch of big, huge, big, tall guys, and so I expected the Arizona Wildcats to be able to totally out-rebound the Michigan Wolverines, and they did pretty much. Let's see. Well, anyway, the Arizona Wildcats win this game against Michigan Wolverines. The final score: Arizona Wildcats 80 to the Michigan Wolverines 53.